In the silent depths of space, a ghostly pulse shattered centuries of oblivion, a beacon from humanity's lost past. Captain Marcus Mac Donovan's weathered eyes burned with a mixture of dread and defiant hope as the long-forgotten war fleet stirred from dormancy. Every fiber of his being screamed at the resurgence of memories, of battles fought, sacrifices made, and dreams abandoned. In that electrifying moment, the weight of history collided with the promise of redemption, igniting a spark that would rattle empires and force the galaxy to reckon with a legacy thought extinct. Far beyond the outer rim, in a sector where starlight barely penetrated the cosmic dust, the ancient sensors of a derelict space outpost buzzed to life. Flickering displays revealed coded transmissions, cryptic signals pulsing like a heartbeat, summoning the remnants of a war long buried. Captain Donovan stood on the creaking deck of the aging command cruiser Vanguard, his calloused hands gripping the railing as he peered into the void. The metallic tang of recycled air mixed with the faint odor of engine oil, grounding him in a reality that was as harsh as it was hopeful. Every memory of loss and exile surged back with renewed intensity. The scars of past battles, etched deep within his soul, now fueled a burning desire to reclaim humanity's honor. Beside him, Lieutenant Zara Reyes, a tactical prodigy with eyes that mirrored the brilliance of distant nebulae, watched the sensor readouts with a blend of skepticism and wonder. Her mind raced through calculations and contingency plans even as a chill of uncertainty coursed through her veins. Was this the moment that would change everything? The signal promised not just the reactivation of warships, but the reawakening of a dormant power that could upend the established alien regimes ruling the galaxy with an iron fist. In the background, the ancient hum of the cruiser's engines provided a steady cadence, a reminder that time was running out. The cosmos, vast and indifferent, now seemed to hold its breath. As the forgotten fleet's dormant energy began to stir, the air grew thick with anticipation and latent conflict. Captain Donovan's voice, rough with determination, broke the charged silence. Prepare to verify the coordinates. If this is real, we're about to change the fate of the galaxy. Thus, in that singular moment, the awakening signal set in motion a journey steeped in old glory, new hope, and the promise of a long-lost legacy roaring back to life. In the hushed corridors of the Vanguard, memories stirred like dust motes in a slanting beam of distant light. The ship's creaking bulk seemed to whisper long-forgotten secrets, a past filled with valor, sacrifice, and bitter loss. Captain Marcus Mac Donovan wandered through narrow passageways lined with faded murals of battles once fought, each image a haunting reminder of humanity's fallen glory. Every step echoed in the metallic silence, a cadence of a time when war was waged not out of desperation, but of fierce resolve. In a secured chamber deep within the vessel, a holographic archive flickered to life. Lieutenant Zara Reyes stood before it, her gaze fixed on the shifting images of a once mighty fleet. Scenes of dazzling starbound armadas and explosive conflicts danced before her eyes, visions of a war that had shattered civilizations and driven humanity into exile. The archive detailed the epic campaigns, the bitter losses, and the deliberate decision to hide the war fleet away, a desperate measure to prevent an all-out arms race that could have plunged the galaxy into endless conflict. As each image flashed by, Zara's heart pounded with a mix of nostalgia and determination. Her mind raced with tactical analyses even as she absorbed the emotional weight of every sacrifice etched in the archival records. Across the room, a battered comm panel hummed with static as fragmented voices from the past were coaxed into clarity. Old log entries and personal testimonies of long-vanished comrades resonated, each word a ghostly echo of bravery and regret. "We fought with everything we had," one voice murmured, thick with sorrow and pride. "We were the shield of humanity, even when our own hearts were torn apart." These words, reverberating through the dim light, stirred something deep within Lieutenant Reyes. They reinforced the notion that the forgotten fleet was not merely a relic of destruction, it was a repository of hope, a testament to the indomitable human spirit that could rise even from the ashes of devastation. Captain Donovan, summoned by the weight of these memories, joined Zara in the archive room. His rugged face, marked by scars both physical and emotional, softened momentarily as he absorbed the collective history of a war that had nearly erased their kind. "Every scar on this fleet," he said in a gravelly tone, "is a reminder of what we lost and what we must reclaim." His voice carried the gravitas of decades of hardship and the burning urgency to restore a legacy thought forever lost. Outside the archive, the Vanguard itself seemed alive with the echoes of its storied past. The hum of the engines, the rhythmic beeping of old sensors, and even the subtle creaks of its aging hull provided a constant, poignant reminder of battles fought in the cold void of space. As the ship drifted through the dark corridors of interstellar history, its corridors became a living museum of valor. Each dint, each faded insignia, told a tale of defiance against overwhelming odds, a tale that now fueled the determination of every soul on board. In that deeply introspective moment, Captain Donovan and Lieutenant Reyes stood side by side, united by a shared vision, to awaken the dormant power of humanity's forgotten war fleet and to confront the new tyranny that had taken root among the stars. The legacy of the Lost War was not merely a chapter of sorrow, it was the blueprint for a renaissance, a resurgence that would rewrite the rules of power in the galaxy. And as the Vanguard continued its quiet journey toward unknown frontiers, the echoes of a lost war pulsed with renewed purpose, setting the stage for a transformation that could shake the very foundations of alien dominion. The darkness of deep space was punctured by a sudden, blinding surge of energy, a heartbeat from the past reawakening. In the hidden depths of an ancient star cluster, far from prying eyes, the flagship Phoenix stirred. Once a symbol of humanity's unmatched martial prowess, it had lain dormant for centuries in a secret hangar cloaked by cosmic dust and the passage of time. Now, its engines roared back to life with a primal fury, sending ripples of light cascading across its scarred hull. The brilliant flare cut through the cold silence like a clarion call, heralding the return of a forgotten war fleet. Aboard the aging command cruiser Vanguard, Captain Marcus Mac Donovan stood transfixed before a sprawling holographic display. The screen showed the unfolding miracle, a ghost of battles past transforming into a beacon of renewed hope. His rugged face, lined with the memories of old scars and the weight of bygone tragedies, softened for the first time in decades. For years, the legend of the Phoenix had been nothing more than a myth whispered among the exiled remnants of humanity, a relic of a lost era when they fought to reclaim their dignity. Now, that myth was becoming reality. Lieutenant Zara Reyes, her eyes reflecting both brilliance and cautious optimism, joined him at the console. Fingers dancing over the controls with a mix of technical precision and reverence, she monitored the reactivation sequence. "Captain, the Phoenix is achieving full power," she said in a voice that trembled with excitement. "Systems are coming online in sequence, reactivating propulsion, defensive arrays, and the quantum communications suite. It's as if the ship remembers its purpose." The holographic map pulsed with renewed activity, delineating a network of dormant vessels scattered across hidden bases. The Phoenix was the first to awaken, its radiant glow igniting the dormant spark in its sister ships one by one. The cascade of reactivations was like watching a constellation come alive, a long-forgotten galaxy of war machines that had once struck fear into the hearts of tyrants. Deep within the command deck of the Phoenix, a flurry of activity belied the calm exterior it now projected. In a chamber lined with panels that had weathered countless battles, Admiral Felicity Flick Winters emerged from a secure stasis bay. Her presence was commanding yet tempered by the humility that comes from having survived the darkest hours of conflict. Once a junior officer in the fleet's prime, Flick had carried the weight of lost dreams and shattered hopes, but now her eyes burned with a fierce determination to restore what was lost. Standing tall in her restored uniform, Flick moved with purpose through the corridors of the Phoenix, where every creak and hum seemed to echo with the ghosts of battles long past. She paused at a window-like viewport, gazing out at the brilliant display of activated vessels dotting the void. "They are coming back to us," she murmured, as though speaking to the silent engines that had once carried her comrades into battle. "Our legacy isn't dead, it's been waiting for this moment." Captain Donovan and Lieutenant Reyes quickly arranged a secure link with Admiral Winters. On the holographic display, her face appeared, a portrait of steely resolve and quiet inspiration. "This is Admiral Winters. I can confirm that the flagship Phoenix is fully operational and its sister ships are beginning to reawaken. We must coordinate our efforts and bring the fleet together," she announced, her voice carrying over the comlink like a rallying cry across the void. A palpable shift rippled through the Vanguard's bridge. The crew, long burdened by the shadow of exile and defeat, now felt a surge of renewed vigor. Old wounds, once sealed by resignation, began to reopen with the promise of healing. The sound of consoles beeping, engines humming, and the soft, rhythmic pulse of reactivated systems filled the room with an energy that was both electric and profoundly moving. As Lieutenant Reyes input final commands, the Vanguard's navigation system plotted a course toward the coordinates of the newly awakened fleet. "Course set, Captain," she reported, her tone a mixture of excitement and cautious optimism. "We're heading to the main hangar complex where the Phoenix is docked. It appears the reactivation was no accident. It was deliberate, a message from our past." Captain Donovan's eyes narrowed as he considered the implications. The deliberate nature of the reawakening suggested that those who had hidden the fleet had known something that current leaders did not. Was it a safeguard against a looming threat? Or perhaps a final, secret contingency plan meant to resurface only when humanity was ready to reclaim its destiny? In the quiet moments before the Vanguard changed course, the captain allowed himself a fleeting moment of introspection. Every scar on his weathered face told a story of battles fought in the name of survival. Every memory was a testament to a people that had never truly surrendered their hope. Now, with the phoenix blazing in the darkness like a phoenix rising from its own ashes, that hope was igniting into a promise of redemption. In the vast emptiness of space, amid the whispers of cosmic winds and the soft glow of reactivated engines, humanity's forgotten war fleet was coming alive once more. The awakening was not merely a mechanical process. It was a resurgence of spirit, a defiant stand against the forces that had subjugated them for too long. It was a call to arms, a challenge thrown to the galaxy's tyrants, and a promise that the legacy of the fallen would not fade into oblivion. The bridge of the Vanguard hummed with an air of anticipation as the ship sped toward the rendezvous point. Captain Donovan's voice, steady and resolute, broke the silence. Prepare for rendezvous with the fleet. Today, we reclaim our past and our future. The words reverberated through the corridors, stirring a sense of unity and resolve among the crew. In that moment, as the Phoenix and its sisters roared to life against the backdrop of a star-studded sky, humanity's forgotten war fleet rose once again, its resurgence a beacon of hope, defiance, and the promise of a new dawn. A murmur of astonishment and hope rippled through the silent expanse of human space as news of the fleet's reawakening began to spread. Far beyond the fortified hubs of established colonies, in the remote outposts where life clung to existence against cosmic odds, the faint crackle of intercepted transmissions carried whispers of an impossible comeback. Across battered communication channels, the reactivation of the flagship Phoenix and its sister vessels ignited a cascade of rumors, a promise that the lost days of exile might soon be over. In a cramped, makeshift command center on the edge of the Orion Rim, Lieutenant Zara Reyes sat before an array of flickering screens. Her eyes, still glistening with the excitement of the Phoenix's resurgence, darted over incoming messages from distant settlements. The room, illuminated by the cold blue glow of ancient projection systems, pulsed with a mix of static and human voices, each transmission a testament to the resilience of a scattered people. This is Outpost Delta. We've detected an energy surge. Coordinates match those of the reawakened fleet. One message declared in a voice trembling with both disbelief and cautious optimism. Meanwhile, in a more polished, state-of-the-art hub orbiting a vibrant, recovering planet, Ambassador Lydia Carver reviewed diplomatic communiques with measured precision. Carver, known for her ability to bridge divides with a blend of empathy and strategic acumen, listened intently as reports streamed in from various human enclaves. Each message confirmed the unbelievable. The long-forgotten war fleet was stirring from its slumber, and the signal was unmistakable, a call from the past demanding recognition. She quickly relayed this information to interstellar leaders, her tone both urgent and hopeful. We must prepare for a historic convergence. This fleet, our fleet, is coming home. It's time to awaken the spirit of our people. Across the galaxy, where alien regimes had grown complacent in their unchallenged dominion, a different reaction was unfolding. In the dark, imposing halls of the alien command centers, sensors that had long reported routine patrols now flickered with unusual activity. Commander Zalvor, whose iron grip had kept his people in line for centuries, received word of the reactivation with a mix of incredulity and rising dread. His command chamber, draped in the opulence of his empire, fell into an eerie silence as his officers delivered fragmented intelligence, hints that the forgotten human war fleet was not a relic of myth but an imminent threat. Our records show no sign of human resurgence, Zalvor hissed through clenched jaws, the disbelief giving way to panic as his trusted aides confirmed the anomalous readings. They are returning, and they are coming for us. As the alien command scrambled to reconfigure battle plans and secure their borders, human and alien voices clashed in the unseen reaches of space. Diplomatic channels, once dormant, now buzzed with tension. In secure subchannels, seasoned negotiators on both sides attempted to decipher the intentions behind these developments. Were the humans seeking a peaceful reunion? Or was this the prelude to an all-out assault? The uncertainty rippled through the cosmos like a shockwave. On the fringes of human space, aboard a rugged freighter navigating an asteroid belt, a grizzled old radio operator named Samuel Sam McKinley adjusted his equipment. His weathered fingers moved with practiced ease as he transmitted a clear, resonant message to nearby colonies. "This is McKinley. I've got confirmation. The fleet is reactivating. It's not a drill. Prepare yourselves, folks. History is coming back to life." His broadcast, punctuated by static and the crackle of cosmic winds, became a rallying cry, fanning the flames of hope and stirring long-dormant memories of a time when humanity had ruled the stars with unyielding might. In the heart of this galactic maelstrom of rumors and revelations, Lieutenant Reyes felt a shiver of anticipation run down her spine. She remembered the days of her training, the fierce determination that once drove her to excel as a strategist. Now, as the digital maps glowed with the coordinates of reawakened warships, that same fire rekindled within her, a burning desire to see her people restored to their rightful place in the cosmos. "We have a chance to reclaim our past and shape our future," she whispered to herself, her voice mingling with the hum of the freighter's engines. As these divergent narratives converged, human hope igniting the spirit of a scattered people, and alien panic fracturing the facade of unchallenged power, the stage was set for an inevitable collision. The universe, vast and indifferent, had begun to whisper of change. Every star flickered with the promise of renewal, every transmission pulsed with the rhythm of destiny. And in that uncertain, charged void, the rumors of the forgotten war fleet became a beacon, a rallying point that would soon force the galaxy to confront the legacy of humanity, long buried but never truly extinguished. A thunderous silence shattered across the void as the human war fleet burst into view, its silhouettes blazing against the starlit tapestry. In the command center of Commander Zalvor's flagship, alarm klaxons pierced the air, a discordant symphony to accompany the unfolding chaos. Zalvor's eyes widened as live feeds revealed a cascade of ancient, reactivated warships slicing through his meticulously maintained patrol lines. The very foundations of his regime trembled under the shock of humanity's return. Across alien territories, high-ranking officers scrambled in disbelief. Holographic battle maps, once dominated by orderly formations and unchallenged sectors, now flickered with red markers of human presence. In one control room, an officer's voice quivered, "Sir, unidentified vessels approaching, rapidly closing on our border." The message reverberated through corridors of sleek, obsidian walls as alien commanders exchanged frantic glances, their calm demeanors giving way to palpable dread. Meanwhile, far from the ivory spires of the alien capital, isolated patrols encountered the unexpected might of the forgotten fleet. On the frontier, a solitary human battleship, its hull scarred by ages of neglect yet gleaming with renewed vigor, intercepted an alien reconnaissance vessel. The ensuing skirmish was both swift and brutal, a dazzling interplay of plasma bolts and iridescent energy shields. Alien sensors, once so confident in their precision, now registered erratic readings as the human ship's adaptive defenses absorbed and redirected the assault. The patrol vessel shuddered under the ferocity of the counterattack before it was forced into a hasty retreat, its commander's voice a panicked whisper over the intercom. Back in Commander Zalvor's flagship, the ambience was thick with tension. The vast, crystalline command chamber, once a monument to his unchallenged power, now flickered with uncertain red alerts. "Our outer defenses are being overwhelmed," one subordinate reported, his tone barely concealing his trepidation. Zalvor clenched his fist, his meticulously groomed features twisting in anger and disbelief. He had long believed that humanity was but a myth, a relic of a past era. Yet, here they were, a resurgence of relentless warriors emerging from obscurity, striking at the heart of his dominion. As alien warships attempted to regroup and form a counteroffensive, the chaos intensified. One alien cruiser, with its angular lines and imposing aura, faltered under a barrage of energy missiles. The explosion that followed was a brilliant, terrible flash, a cascade of luminous debris that marked the shattering of alien pride. The cruiser's fragments drifted helplessly through space, a stark symbol of the faltering regime's vulnerability. In the swirling maelstrom of battle, alien commanders issued frantic orders through resonant, echoing channels, their voices layered with a mixture of authority and mounting panic. Divert all reserves to the border sectors. Seal off the void. Prevent further incursions. Their directives, however, were met with the relentless, adaptive tactics of the human fleet. With each strategic maneuver, human warships exploited the cracks in the alien defense, their advanced weaponry and age-old battle-hardened instincts rewriting the rules of engagement. On the periphery of the conflict, a small alien outpost found itself besieged by an unexpected flurry of attacks. The outpost's energy barriers flickered ineffectually against the onslaught. In the alien garrison, unprepared for such ferocity, scrambled to mount a defense. Amid the din of clashing energies and desperate shouts, an officer's panic-stricken face was illuminated by the red glow of emergency lights. "We're losing control," he hissed into his comm device, the despair in his voice mirroring the chaos unfolding across the starfields. In stark contrast to the panic-ridden corridors of the alien fleet, the human warships glided with a mixture of determination and controlled aggression. Their reawakened engines hummed with renewed purpose, each vessel a testament to the spirit of a people who had endured exile and now surged forward to reclaim their destiny. Every explosion, every shattered piece of alien armor, reverberated with the promise of redemption and the painful echo of past losses. As the first direct clashes unfolded along the border, the galaxy watched in silent awe. The omnipresent stars bore witness to an ancient rivalry reawakened, a confrontation where the forgotten legacies of war stirred both terror and hope. Alien forces, unaccustomed to the defiant roar of a reborn human fleet, found themselves confronted not by myth, but by a living, breathing army that had returned to shake the cosmos to its very core. In that tumultuous, shimmering expanse, the reign of fear that had once cloaked Commander Zalvor's empire began to unravel, heralding a new chapter where the unexpected might of humanity forced even the most powerful to confront their deepest vulnerabilities. Deep within the labyrinthine corridors of the alien command vessel, a hushed urgency began to permeate the cold, crystalline halls. The once impeccable order of Commander Zalvor's regime now wavered as murmurs of discontent grew louder among the ranks. In a shadowed alcove behind a panel of pulsating energy displays, a small cadre of high-ranking alien officers gathered in secret. Their voices, low and tremulous with a blend of fear and defiance, wove together a tapestry of disillusionment. At the center of this clandestine meeting stood Lieutenant Karin, his eyes flickering with the unspoken pain of countless battles. "For too long," he murmured, his voice resonant yet barely audible over the hum of the ship's power cores, "we have enforced a tyranny built on fear and arrogance. Our people, our very honor, has been sacrificed at the altar of endless conquest." His words, laden with sorrow and determination, were met with nods and furtive glances from his peers. Across the chamber, Commander Velsori, whose smooth, iridescent scales belied the turmoil within, leaned forward. "Commander Zalvor believes that our dominance is unassailable, that humanity is nothing more than an ancient myth. But the reactivation of their war fleet has shattered that illusion. We have witnessed their resolve firsthand in the chaos at the border." Velsori's tone was both measured and resolute, as if the weight of his position demanded action. "It is time we reconsider our loyalties. If our oppressor cannot see the cracks in our dominion, then perhaps we must forge a new path." In a dimly lit chamber, where the only light came from the shifting patterns of holographic data streams and the soft pulse of alien technology, the discontented officers laid out their secret plan. They had been communicating in whispers, passing encrypted messages through hidden channels that evaded even the most vigilant of Zalvor's sensors. Their plan was audacious: to open a covert dialogue with the human emissaries, a risky gambit to unseat the oppressive leadership that had long kept their true potential shackled. Simultaneously, in a secluded communications bay aboard one of the defecting ships, a lone human officer, Lieutenant Reyes, received an unexpected transmission. The alien signal, coded in a series of complex, melodic frequencies, carried a message of defiance and hope. "We are not your enemies by nature," the message intoned, echoing in a voice that was both alien and hauntingly familiar. "Join us, and together we may shatter the bonds of tyranny." The transmission, fragile yet determined, set Lieutenant Reyes's heart racing with a mix of exhilaration and cautious optimism. Back on the alien flagship, the tension grew as the covert meeting reached its zenith. Lieutenant Karin's face, usually an impassive mask of discipline, softened with the raw intensity of his conviction. "If we act now, our move could destabilize the entire regime. The humans, with all their passion and resilience, are ready to reclaim what was once lost. We must be willing to risk everything for a future where we are more than mere cogs in a machine of oppression." The secret assembly, hidden behind layers of sophisticated alien encryption, echoed with the murmurs of dissent. Commander Velsori, eyes narrowed in steely resolve, added, "I have arranged a secure link. Soon, we will contact the human fleet directly. Let them know that not all of us stand by in silence. Our strength lies in our willingness to change, to admit that the path we follow no longer serves us." Outside the fortified walls of the alien command center, panic had already begun to ripple among the lower echelons of Zalvor's forces. Alarmed messages and erratic sensor readings were rapidly transmitted across the vast interstellar network. The proud and seemingly impenetrable dominion of the alien regime was fracturing from within. The once pristine corridors of power now resonated with the dissonant hum of rebellion, an ominous prelude to the upheaval that was about to transform the face of galactic authority. In that charged moment, as the alien officers prepared to send their carefully encoded missives to the human side, the very fabric of the Dominion's power began to tear. The secret alliances, born out of desperation and the yearning for true honor, set the stage for an unprecedented collaboration. The faint, hopeful notes of rebellion echoed through the void, a promise that even the most unyielding empires could be reshaped when their inner voices refused to be silenced. Thus, in the depths of the alien stronghold, amid whispered confessions and clandestine transmissions, the seeds of a revolutionary alliance were sown. The fractures in the Dominion were no longer merely cracks in the armor of an oppressive regime. They were the harbingers of a new era, where truth, unity, and the courage to defy tyranny would light the way to a transformed destiny. In the inky depths of space, where light danced precariously with darkness, the human fleet launched its daring counteroffensive. Captain Marcus Mac Donovan's voice crackled over the comms as Vanguard led a series of swift, covert strikes against isolated alien patrols. The operation was shrouded in secrecy, a ballet of hit-and-run maneuvers designed to exploit the enemy's vulnerable gaps and sow chaos within their ranks. In the cockpit of a nimble fighter, Lieutenant Zara Reyes guided her craft through a labyrinth of asteroid debris, each rock illuminated briefly by stray flashes of distant battle. Her hands flew over the controls, calibrating evasive maneuvers with precision. Every calculated twist and turn was a defiant act against an adversary that had once ruled with impunity. "Alpha Squad, engage on my mark," she ordered, her voice cool and confident, echoing the determination that had long been dormant in humanity's exiled warriors. As the fighters slipped through cosmic shadows, plasma bolts streaked through the void, colliding with alien patrol ships in a mesmerizing display of light and fury. One human vessel, its hull scarred but steadfast, intercepted an enemy recon cruiser. In the ensuing skirmish, rapid bursts of energy and the hiss of deflected blasts painted a vivid tapestry against the star-studded backdrop. The cruiser, caught off guard by the ferocity and precision of the human tactics, faltered under the relentless assault. Its sensors went haywire as it tried to recalibrate, a silent cry of disarray in the chaos of battle. Meanwhile, aboard Vanguard, Captain Donovan's eyes remained fixed on the holographic battlefield. He watched as his fleet executed a symphony of guerrilla warfare, striking hard and then melting back into the cosmic night. His steady gaze was tempered by both pride and a heavy awareness of the stakes at hand. "Remember, our strength lies not in overwhelming force, but in our ability to strike and vanish before they can react," he reminded his crew, his words resonating like a solemn vow against the hum of the engines. Back in the thick of the action, Commander Ethan Cole coordinated the unfolding maneuvers with methodical precision. His tactical displays flickered with data, enemy positions, projected trajectories, and real-time recalculations that allowed the human fleet to maintain the upper hand. "Consolidate at Grid Delta 9 and prepare for counterstrikes," he instructed. The command center buzzed with a mixture of urgency and controlled chaos, every officer attuned to the rhythm of the skirmish, a rhythm that combined the desperation of survival with the exhilaration of a long-awaited resurgence. In a daring twist, a small contingent of alien defectors, who had been swayed by secret communications and the promise of a new order, joined the human assault mid-skirmish. Their ships, once symbols of an unchallenged empire, now formed a parallel line of attack alongside the human vessels. The unexpected alliance blurred the lines between friend and foe, as defectors maneuvered with a shared purpose, their sleek, iridescent hulls echoing the innovative spirit of their new allies. On a narrow ridge of space near a debris-laden nebula, the human and defecting alien ships converged in a choreographed display of unity. The defiant cry of human fighters merged with the cautious signals of the defectors, crafting an alliance that was as fragile as it was potent. Every explosion in the distance, every burst of energy from adaptive shields, was a clarion call to those who had long been sidelined by history, a testament to the unyielding resolve of a people reclaiming their destiny. As the skirmish reached its fevered crescendo, Lieutenant Reyes executed a final, audacious maneuver. Her fighter darted into the heart of an enemy supply convoy, sowing confusion and disarray. In that brief, incandescent moment, the convoy disintegrated into a chaotic cloud of debris and shattered armor, a vivid demonstration that even the mightiest oppressors could be felled by precision and unity. In the aftermath, as the scattered remnants of the enemy retreated into the shadowy recesses of their territory, the Allied forces regrouped with cautious triumph. The space around them, once a battlefield of rapid strikes and ephemeral clashes, now settled into an eerie quiet punctuated by the soft hum of recovering engines and the distant echoes of cosmic winds. Captain Donovan's voice, tempered by both relief and steely resolve, cut through the silence. Today, we have shown that the shadows hide our strength. We strike with precision, then vanish, leaving our enemies to grapple with the ghosts of their shattered pride. Let this be a reminder, our fight is not over. It has just begun. His words resonated with every soul aboard Vanguard and its allied ships, igniting a spark that promised further challenges and the eventual reclamation of a forgotten legacy. In that dynamic dance of light and shadow, amidst the brave defiance of human innovation and the unexpected solidarity of alien defectors, the skirmish became more than just a battle. It became a transformative moment. It was a powerful declaration that even in the darkest reaches of space, the courage to challenge the status quo could cast a light that no tyrant could ever extinguish. In the vast emptiness of space, where the dying light of a distant star barely pierced the swirling mist of interstellar dust, the stage was set for the ultimate clash. The Allied fleet, a vibrant tapestry of human warships and gleaming alien defectors, converged upon the enemy's central stronghold, a colossal, heavily fortified flagship that loomed like a dark monolith against the cosmic canvas. Every sensor aboard Vanguard and its kin pulsed with data, mapping the enemy formation in vivid detail. The tension was palpable, as if the universe itself held its breath in anticipation. Captain Marcus Mac Donovan stood at the helm, his gaze unyielding as he absorbed the unfolding panorama. The flagship's enormous silhouette was outlined by sporadic bursts of energy and flickering defensive shields, a fortress built of alien engineering and decades of unchallenged dominion. Commander Ethan Cole's steady voice cut through the controlled chaos. All units, prepare for final engagement. Focus fire on the energy nexus at the heart of their command vessel. This is our chance to shatter their central power and bring down the regime. The Allied fleet moved as one, their coordinated maneuvers resembling a grand, cosmic ballet. Lieutenant Zara Reyes, piloting one of the swiftest fighters, led a daring flank that weaved through enemy fire, her craft gliding like a comet amid the turbulent waves of plasma bolts. Her instruments flashed critical warnings, yet her fingers danced over the controls with unerring precision. "I'm in position, initiating strike run," she announced, her voice calm and resolute. In that moment, the calculated risk of her maneuver held the fate of the entire operation. Across the battlefield, the defecting alien ships, their once cold, reflective surfaces now glowing with the warmth of new allegiance, integrated seamlessly with the human vessels. They fired synchronized volleys, their weapons discharging cascades of iridescent energy that illuminated the dark void. The enemy flagship shuddered under the onslaught. Its adaptive shields, once impenetrable, flickered uncertainly as concentrated human firepower, honed by years of exile and perseverance, exploited every tiny flaw. In the central command chamber of the enemy vessel, chaos reigned. Commander Zalvor's once unassailable authority crumbled as red alerts and shattered holographic displays signaled catastrophic failure. An ominous silence seemed to fall over the alien command, broken only by the frantic shouts of officers scrambling to regain control. The flagship's energy nexus, a pulsating core of raw power, began to convulse, each surge a testament to the mounting pressure from the Allied barrage. Amid this maelstrom, Captain Donovan's voice rang clear over the comms, a steady beacon in the storm of battle. "Focus on the nexus. We strike together, human and alien alike, for freedom, for a future without tyranny." His words, filled with the weight of history and the promise of redemption, reverberated across the fleet. The combined might of the Allied forces intensified, and a massive volley of energy missiles streaked toward the heart of the enemy vessel. Time seemed to slow as the missiles closed in. Every pulse of light, every echo of the distant star, magnified the gravity of the moment. Then, with a cataclysmic roar that shook the very fabric of space, the missiles struck the energy nexus. A brilliant explosion erupted, a sphere of incandescent fire that consumed the central core and sent shockwaves rippling across the enemy fleet. The flagship shuddered violently, its core succumbing to the overwhelming force of unified defiance. In the aftermath, debris and fragments of shattered technology drifted silently into the void. The enemy formation, once a symbol of unyielding power, now splintered into chaotic fragments as individual vessels retreated into the darkness. On the bridge of Vanguard, Every crew member felt both the exhilaration of victory and the solemnity of the sacrifices made. The silence that followed was profound, a quiet acknowledgement of the heavy price of freedom. As the Allied fleet regrouped, a soft glow of renewed hope filled the screens. Diplomat Olivia Marlowe's measured voice broke the silence. Today, we have struck a decisive blow for justice. Our united strength has toppled an empire built on fear. Her words, gentle yet imbued with conviction, resonated deeply across the fleet, inspiring even the most battle-worn souls. Captain Donovan allowed himself a moment of reflection as he gazed at the remnants of the enemy flagship fading into the cosmic night. In that fleeting instant, he saw not just the downfall of a tyrant, but the dawning of a new era, a future where the lessons of a forgotten war could pave the way for interstellar reconciliation and lasting peace. In the great, star-dusted expanse, as remnants of the once mighty enemy scattered like stardust, the Allied fleet held steadfast, united in purpose and tempered by sacrifice. The great confrontation had reshaped the destiny of the galaxy, proving that even in the vast darkness, the light of freedom could blaze with unyielding brilliance. In the wake of the great confrontation, the cosmic battlefield lay in haunting silence, a vast expanse strewn with debris, the charred husks of warships, and the lingering echoes of explosions. As the Allied fleet regrouped, the remnants of Commander Zalvor's once mighty armada drifted aimlessly, like broken dreams scattered across the void. Every shattered fragment of the enemy formation was a testament to the collapse of an empire built on terror, and in that silence, the weight of the cost was palpable. Aboard Vanguard, Captain Marcus Mac Donovan stood at the helm, his gaze fixed on the holographic projection that detailed the disintegration of the alien forces. The map pulsed with scattered red markers, once precise coordinates of power now reduced to erratic blips. The cold, steady hum of the ship's systems was a stark counterpoint to the chaos left behind. Around him, his crew moved with measured efficiency, their expressions a mix of relief, sorrow, and quiet determination. On the bridge, Commander Ethan Cole reviewed damage reports and casualty figures. His voice, usually brimming with tactical acumen, now carried a somber cadence. "Our sensors indicate heavy losses in the Central Fleet," he reported, his eyes narrowing as he scanned the data. "The enemy's command structure has fractured completely. We're witnessing an unprecedented collapse of what they once considered invincible." His words resonated with every officer, a stark reminder of the high price paid in the struggle for freedom. In the alien command center, now a derelict space, bathed in the eerie glow of failing systems, disarray reigned. The once imposing corridors, where holographic displays once sang praises of power and order, now flickered erratically, casting shifting shadows on walls that bore the scars of battle. Alien officers, their faces once masked in stoic indifference, now wore expressions of disbelief and despair. The carefully maintained hierarchy had crumbled. Loyalty to Commander Zalvor was no longer enough to hold back the tidal wave of internal dissent. Lieutenant Karin and Commander Velsori, the very voices of the secret rebellion, moved through these corridors with heavy hearts. They gathered with other like-minded officers in a makeshift assembly, deep within the bowels of what remained of the flagship. The air was thick with the electric scent of damaged power cores and the bitter tang of ozone, a reminder that even in defeat, the machinery of oppression still clung to life. "We knew this day might come," Karin whispered, his voice barely audible over the low hum of failing systems. "But I never imagined it would be so complete. Our world, our empire, shattered in moments." His words, laden with regret and resolve, echoed off cold, metallic walls, as if the very structure mourned the loss of its former glory. Elsewhere, in the galactic outskirts where the human fleet had pressed its advantage, the reformed and united vessels began the painstaking process of recovery. The reactivated warships, which had once been dormant relics of a brutal past, now pulsed with new life, a symbol of rebirth emerging from the ashes of conflict. Diplomat Olivia Marlowe convened a solemn assembly aboard Vanguard, inviting representatives from both the human colonies and the newly allied alien defectors. In a large conference room with panoramic views of the starlit void, she addressed the gathering, her voice resonating with both hope and the gravity of sacrifice. "Today, we honor the fallen on all sides," Marlowe declared, her eyes sweeping over the assembled faces. "We stand not as conquerors, but as witnesses to the cost of tyranny. The shattered remnants of the Dominion remind us that power built on fear is as fragile as it is brutal. Let us take this moment to rebuild, not in the image of our past, but as a beacon for a future defined by unity, compassion, and justice." Her words stirred a mix of quiet tears and resolute nods. The assembly, a living mosaic of human and alien defectors, recognized that while the battle had been won, the true work of healing was only just beginning. On a nearby observation deck, Captain Donovan allowed himself a moment of solitude. The expansive viewport framed a mesmerizing panorama: distant nebulae, scattered debris, and the slow, methodical drift of starships that once symbolized unchecked power. In that vast, silent space, he could almost hear the whispered voices of those lost to history, each one a reminder of what had been sacrificed in the name of freedom. He closed his eyes, letting the cold emptiness of space wash over him, mingling with the warmth of his memories and the fervent hope of a brighter tomorrow. Outside, the chaos of the battlefield gradually gave way to a slow, determined process of reconstruction. The Allied fleet began coordinating salvage operations, reclaiming valuable technology from the wreckage, securing vital data logs, and rescuing survivors from the remnants of battle. Human engineers worked alongside their alien counterparts, merging technologies and skills in a symbol of newfound collaboration. The boundaries that had once divided species blurred as they shared common goals: to rebuild, to remember, and to prevent such devastation from ever recurring. In a particularly poignant moment, Lieutenant Zara Reyes found herself overseeing the retrieval of a damaged alien cruiser. Its hull was pockmarked with the scars of a relentless barrage, yet there was a certain beauty in its broken form, a silent ode to the resilience of those who once commanded it. She carefully guided a repair drone to the vessel, her fingers trembling slightly as she recalled the fierce battles fought to bring it down. "Every piece we salvage," she murmured to herself, "is a testament to our shared struggle, a promise that out of destruction, we can forge a new path together." Her words, carried on a whisper of determination, were absorbed by the quiet hum of machines and the distant, steady pulse of the recovering fleet. Meanwhile, deep within the command logs of the defeated Dominion, encrypted messages flickered, a remnant of the old order trying to find a voice in the aftermath. Some of these messages were desperate pleas for order, while others were bitter confessions of a system that had crumbled under the weight of its own hubris. For a brief, poignant moment, even the remnants of tyranny seemed to mourn their own downfall. The alien regime, once a monolith of fear and control, now lay fractured, its legacy a mosaic of both arrogance and sorrow. As the day faded into a cosmic night filled with glittering stars and soft whispers of wind from distant nebulas, the Allied forces gathered for one final reflection before setting their course toward a new destiny. Captain Donovan, flanked by Lieutenant Reyes and Diplomat Marlowe, addressed his crew one last time on the bridge of Vanguard. "We have seen the cost of pride and the price of oppression," he said, his voice steady and resolute. "Today, we honor every sacrifice, human, alien, and all in between. Let the shattered Dominion remind us that true power lies not in fear, but in the courage to change and the strength to rebuild." In that charged moment, amid the remnants of a fallen empire and the embers of a hard-won victory, the future of the galaxy began to take shape. The shattered Dominion was more than a symbol of defeat. It was the catalyst for transformation, a poignant reminder that from even the deepest wounds, a new, unified dawn could arise. And as the Allied fleet set forth into the star-studded horizon, the echoes of sacrifice and hope merged into a promise that the legacy of their struggle would guide the path to a future defined by peace, unity, and the relentless pursuit of a better tomorrow. In the calm that followed the storm, the Allied fleet gathered like a constellation of reborn hope, silhouetted against a canvas of starlight. The remnants of war lay scattered, but from the debris of shattered tyranny, a new order began to emerge. The flagship Vanguard led the formation, its once battle-worn hull now adorned with symbols of remembrance and promise. Across the expanse of space, human warships and alien defectors moved in synchronized harmony, a living testament to the power of unity and transformation. Aboard Vanguard, Captain Marcus Mac Donovan stood on the bridge, his eyes reflecting the gentle glow of distant nebulae. The holographic display in front of him charted the progress of recovery and reconstruction, blueprints for rebuilding shattered worlds and rekindling alliances. His rugged face, marked by the scars of past conflicts, now bore a look of quiet determination and soft optimism. "Today," he began, his voice resonating with both solemnity and hope, "we begin a new chapter. Our struggles have shown us that power is not measured by destruction, but by our capacity to create, to unite, and to heal." In the adjacent conference hall, a grand assembly of human and alien representatives sat side by side beneath a vast dome of light. Diplomat Olivia Marlowe took the stage, her tone both gentle and inspiring. "We stand at the threshold of a future where our differences no longer divide us, but where they enrich our collective strength, she declared. The legacy of our forgotten war fleet is not a relic of violence, but a beacon, guiding us to rebuild a galaxy founded on respect, innovation, and shared destiny. Her words echoed through the chamber, instilling a renewed sense of purpose in every listener. Lieutenant Zara Reyes, now recognized as one of the foremost strategists of the renewed alliance, reviewed plans with engineers and alien technicians alike. Together, they mapped out new defensive grids, communication networks, and resource hubs that would bind their diverse cultures and common causes. Our future will be built on the lessons of our past, she stated, her voice firm and clear. Every battle we fought, every sacrifice made, will serve as a cornerstone for a lasting peace. Outside, the starfield shimmered with infinite possibility. The Allied fleet, moving in unison toward newly liberated sectors of the galaxy, became a symbol of hope. The once tyrannical alien regime now lay in ruins, its remnants fading into memory as fresh alliances emerged from the shadows. Alien defectors, who had risked everything to join forces with humanity, were honored not as traitors, but as harbingers of a transformative era. Their ships, once cold and unyielding, now glowed with vibrant hues, a visible manifestation of change and redemption. In a quiet moment on the observation deck, Captain Donovan surveyed the panoramic vista of nebulae, distant galaxies, and newly reactivated outposts. The soft hum of the ship's engines and the gentle pulse of life across the fleet filled him with a sense of awe. "We are not defined by the wars we fought," he whispered to himself, "but by the dreams we dare to build after the battle." His reflection in the glass merged with the starlight, symbolizing how every individual, human and alien alike, was now part of a larger tapestry of hope. As the Allied forces began their slow, deliberate march toward rebuilding a galaxy once ravaged by fear, each step was a promise to the future. The wounds of the past, though still tender, were healing with each act of collaboration, each shared smile between former enemies. The new order was being forged not in the fires of conflict, but in the soft, enduring light of reconciliation and progress. In the final moments of that historic day, as the fleet sailed into a horizon ablaze with the promise of dawn, Captain Donovan's voice carried across the comms one last time. "Let our legacy be one of unity, courage, and the unwavering belief that from the ashes of our darkest days, a new dawn can and will arise." The cosmos, vast and eternal, bore witness to this transformation, a silent chorus of stars celebrating the birth of a future where old wounds gave way to new beginnings, and where every soul was free to write its own story among the stars.